Hello and welcome to Do You Love Us, a critical analysis of the history, cultural impact and music of Manic Street Preachers. My name's Adam Scott Glasspool. I'm joined by Steve Murphy.
Hello.
And I'm joined by Lucas Way.
Why do you get a middle name and I don't?
Interesting.
Oh, that's where you've thrown me right off at the beginning of the podcast. Would you like your middle name to be included?
Lucas Daniel Way.
Lucas, I didn't know that was your middle name. I've known you for about 13 years and I had no idea
that makes
that was
so much more boring.
It's supposed to be my first name and I've resented it ever since.
Lucas is better than Daniel.
Disagree.
You'd prefer Daniel?
Yeah, I was going to be called Danny Way.
Dan Way.
That's the name of a skateboarder.
Danny Way.
Such a cool name.
Lucas is way cooler.
Danny Way.
Steve, you don't have a middle name?
Nope.
Steve, I've known you for about 20 years, and that's the only fact I know about you is that you don't have a middle name.
Oh, I thought the fact that you've known me for 20 years is your fact.
The only thing I know about you is that you've been in my life.
Yeah. Oh, so in your life.
What are we doing here, guys? We're going to be talking about Manic Street Preachers.
Yes.
The rock band, because I think if there's anything that isn't present in the podcasting world at the moment, it's three white men talking about rock music from the 90s.
Yeah. Because we thought, let's do something no one's ever done before and record a podcast.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to you about this. There's this thing where when men become 30, or when anyone becomes 30, they have to choose whether they want to be a streamer or a podcaster.
There you go.
And I don't think any of us have the face for streaming.
I'm a 30.
And this is my third attempt at doing a podcast.
What were your other ones?
It's going to be one about The Office, the American one.
Just your office?
There's been a lot of them.
Okay.
We recorded 2, maybe 3 episodes, and I said, no one wants to hear this, and we stopped.
Okay. Well, I feel like we'll be in a similar position here.
Yeah, because this is the third time we've done the intro, so...
Little behind the scenes.
That's true.
That was me peeling back the wizard's sleeve. Is that the phrase? That's not the right phrase.
I don't know what that means.
You know, when like the wizard curtain.
Peeling back the curtain to reveal the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, the wizard's curtain. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to be going album by album, track by track, through the entire discography of Manic Street Preachers. Week by week, we're going to do a different album, or at least that's the aim. Who knows how much we'll get to. We've already tangented onto other podcasts we've done and famous phrases Steve doesn't know. So
yeah.
We're not even out of the introduction yet. The big thing that we wanted to do that I suppose is a little bit different is that a lot of music podcasts are a group of people who love one band talking at length about that band, and that isn't what we're going to be doing.
No, it's going to be a lot of Adam expressing his love for the band. I've got sort of a spotted history. Is that even a phrase? God, I'm going to be terrible at that. Spotted history?
Spotty history? Spotted? Yeah, that's fine.
With the Manics. So when I first met Adam 20 years ago, you were really into them. And, no way.
No, that can't be right. I wasn't into them yet.
No.
But I got into them.
You got real into them.
I've been listening to them probably since I was 14 or 15. Yeah.
So I became, by association, being your friend in school, into them as well. But then it became one of those things that, you know, when someone likes something so much and they keep telling you how much they like it,
it puts you off it.
Oh yeah. So I really started to dislike
everything.
It's the same with Adam's holy trinity of REM, Radiohead, and the Manics.
Yeah, those are my three. Those are my guys.
Yeah.
And you intentionally listened to none of them ever, and you've only recently discovered Radiohead.
You've just gotten into Radiohead.
Yeah. So it's exactly the same thing. And I've come back and gone.
Hold on. Are you enjoying Radiohead?
Yeah.
Tangent.
Yeah. That's what. Well, this is the thing. Like,
let's talk about Radiohead for 2 hours.
This is the world's only podcast dedicated to the Manic Street Preachers.
So let's talk.
How
about
are you
Radiohead.
enjoying Radiohead?
But it's one of those things where it's like, hold on, this critically acclaimed band's quite good, right?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah,
I have that with Fleetwood Mac. I hate Fleetwood Mac until I'm listening to them, and then I'm sat there going, "This is really good," and then it finishes, and I'm like, "Oh shit."
Yeah. But then, even just from doing this, where we've been going back to these albums and listening to them and writing down, I'm finding it interesting, and therefore I'm starting to like them again and realizing why they're a good band.
This is the point of the podcast because Steve, like you said, you over the years, you have a familiarity with them, don't you?
Yes.
I think we used to listen to Send Away the Tigers quite a lot when it came out. just sort of driving around in my car.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite an album we used to listen to a lot. And you've been to a few of their gigs with me. And,
I've been to 2, I think.
Yeah.
We went to see them at Southampton twice.
Yeah, that's
that right?
probably true. Yeah. This
Yeah.
is very dry. Lucas, you probably know what?
5 songs? Well, not anymore.
Not anymore, yeah. But before we did this, you probably knew
I
5
tried
songs.
to list them, and I listed, and I probably didn't even get the names
go on,
right.
we'll
I was
try
like, when you tolerate this, your children will be next.
Yeah, spot on.
Is that the name of the song?
I believe so.
If.
The one with the girl from the Cardigans. That's quite good.
Your love alone is not enough.
Yep.
Design for life.
Design for Life. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one. I knew that one.
Fact about that song, we had a school assembly in junior school based around A Design for Life by the Manic Street Preachers.
How was it based around?
Right, considering
that
the,
for the episode,
real
surely.
content of the song,
Yeah,
he
sort of about like almost like a classist uprising and
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
being
yeah.
pigeonholed into stereotypes.
Yeah, he went. You need to think about what you want to do in your future and have a design for life.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah,
Did it
and
work?
Have a bottle in your dirty face.
Oh wow, your headmaster was really violent.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I just listed all the. Oh no! It turned out when I listened to Motorcycle Emptiness, I was
You
like,
knew
"Oh,
that
I know this song.
Yeah.
I recognise this. It's a song I vaguely know."
Yeah.
I think you will have that
With a number of
lot.
songs.
I think you will know You Stole the Sun From My Heart. I think you'll know The Everlasting. I think
Probably.
you'll know Australia, Everything Must Go, stuff like that. I think
Yeah, I
the
think
big
that-
songs are things you will be aware
I
of.
remember when I saw Stereophonics at a festival because they were just the next band on,
Sure.
and being like, "Oh, I know like 3 of their songs," and then the whole set, I was like, "This is back-to-back bangers that I love."
They do
I just
have some bangers,
Didn't
yeah.
think about all the songs that I just like heard by osmosis over the years, and then turns out I
I
liked
had
them.
that with Blur. I had completely forgotten loads of songs by Blur until I revisited them because it was stuff that like my mum would play in the car or was
Just
on
be
the
on the
radio.
radio, yeah.
Yeah.
And also worth noting that my opinion, I know so little about Manics that in my head, the Manic Street Preachers have always been 4 40-year-old men.
What, forever?
Yeah,
Like they
in
came
a
out.
t-shirt with a
Spawned into the
t-shirt
world.
and a blazer, playing dad rock.
That sounds like Adam.
Basically, that's as far as I'm concerned. That's all they've ever been. And so, going to their first album and seeing that that's not what they've always been at all.
Yeah.
is interesting.
So that-
because I
and-
literally imagine them as like a band with zero edge and have never had even a hit. They're like Coldplay. They've never had a sliver of edge.
This is where
because all
everyone
I've known
turns
of
the
them is
podcast
like,
off.
oh, dad rock band.
Okay.
They're not that.
Interesting. That's very interesting. And this was a very roundabout way of saying that this is the thrust of the podcast. We all found out in discussions that we listen to music quite differently. And what we would like to kind of explore through this band is, does context and a deeper reading of music improve your kind of listening experience? I think that the kind of the main topic we hit on was lyrics. Is that I often go after sort of lyrics if I don't understand what the artist is saying. And Lucas, you say really that you never do that, or it's very rare.
Even my favourite bands who I've collected art books and have the vinyl copies and all that stuff, I don't look at the lyrics in them.
Yeah, and so then to take
And
that
I think
one,
this is the debate, is that I think that is how the majority of people listen to music.
Okay, well we'll get into it, but and then to take that one step further, we're also going to be looking at the history of the band and the outside context and seeing if that affects the music as well. You know, does knowing the story behind the music improve how you experience the music? So we're going to be doing a kind of deeper dive on all of these things. One from the perspective of a huge fan who has spent far too much money on seeing them. I think I'm up to maybe 17 times now. And
17?
yeah, I think so.
Wow.
And, you know, buying all the special editions and all the stuff like that. You know, so we'll be doing it from that perspective. We'll be doing it the perspective of kind of a more casual listener, Steve, right?
Yeah.
You're aware of them. You liked bits of what you've heard.
Yeah, I know a lot more about them, I guess, than Lucas does or did.
I'm the pleb.
Yeah. You fit
Well, but
right
that's
into
not
the
just-
village idiot role of the podcast,
I'm
right?
the normie pleb.
But that's not just for the podcast. That is your role.
That's my role.
Anyway.
Yeah, the soy boy beta cuck. of our entire.
I was wondering how long it would take for someone to say "soy boy beta cuck."
Yeah,
It
yeah.
turns out it's about 9 minutes.
And I,
9 minutes.
and I just knew it'd be Steve as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's what we're
Basic
going to
bitch.
try and do. We're gonna check in with Lucas and Steve and with me and see how we're enjoying the music with all of that context added in. I suppose a good place to start is kind of giving people a base level. Lucas, what kind of music are you into, other than Manic Street Preachers now, which you're obviously very heavily into?
They are my new favourite band. I basically haven't discovered any new music since about 2009.
Same.
I sort of found my bands and I stuck with. I mean, there's some have crept in, but I so seldom listen to albums anymore, apart from albums that I know and love. Someone goes, "Oh, have you heard the new something?"
You can't even name
I can't, have you heard the new? Well, there's a new Coldplay album apparently.
There is a new Coldplay.
Yeah, I haven't listened to a Coldplay
It's
album
quite
since Milo's Diloto, I think,
Okay.
because I just stopped listening to new music apart from of the select artists that I just listen to like ambient, relaxing, chill.
Is this how this
music now.
podcast is going to be? Because I asked you what kind of music are you into, and then you spent a minute and a half telling me all the music you don't like or don't listen to.
Oh, okay, so I do listen to a lot of, but these days I mostly don't listen to like what like
He's
artists.
doing it again.
I listen to like playlists of just like, oh, this is like
What do you listen to?
this is like a playlist of like like chill music, and I'll just listen to that.
What
or like
is it?
classical music or like film soundtracks, but it's not just like one artist. It's just like a load of stuff, you know. Bands like
You like Muse?
I'm an unashamed Muse super fan.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think the way that you like Muse is similar to the way that I like the Manic
Yes,
Street
I
Preachers.
have box sets and
Yeah.
seen them live 20 times.
But also,
and all that.
and I'm sure we'll touch on this, but Manic Street Preachers were a band that were very important to me when I was a teenager, in those kind of formative years.
And so you'll always like anything they do, even
Regardless.
if it's objectively bad.
Yeah. Pretty much. There are some Manics albums that I don't like.
Okay.
I like
Well, I guess we'll get into that later
We can. I mean,
because I want to know everything. Because I didn't know that.
I'm not a massive fan of the latest one, Resistance is Futile.
Okay.
Spoilers, I'm not a massive fan of Generation Terrorists.
Oh.
My favourite Manics stuff is, aside from the classics like the Holy Bible and Everything Must Go, I'm a big fan of Know Your Enemy and Lifeblood, which I can hear Manics fans screaming at me from here. Lifeblood is a much maligned album.
This is what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah.
How many fucking albums have we got to get through?
I think
You named about 60.
I think it's 16.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Are they all? Are any of them as long as Generation Terrorist?
Here we go. That's the first mention.
Do you know what?
Guys, sorry,
Go on.
but the Generation Terrorist is long.
Generation Terrorist is long, and
Yeah.
we'll be covering it on our next episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Know Your Enemy might be a similar length
Christ.
because it's 2 tracks shorter, but the tracks are longer.
Good. What about Steve? What's Steve's musical?
Where do you fall on the musical spectrum? So
I like
we've
how
got-
in the end
we've got
actually I
Lucas-
named one band.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, who he listens to Muse and
Classical music and film soundtracks. No, I like.
And aren't you
I like my
clever?
favorite bands like Arcade Fire, Sigur Rós.
You fit into that sort of like mid 2000s indie rock sort of thing, don't you?
Yeah.
I always associate Maximo Park with you,
I
and I don't know why.
don't.
And We Are
like
Scientists.
That. I loved We Are Scientists. They're
Yeah,
playing
I thought
actually.
so.
I saw they're playing, and I might go see them. But this is
Where are they
completely
playing?
off topic.
I think I saw them at,
They're doing With Love and Squalor in its entirety. At
That's the
Roundhouse
only album
in
I know.
London, and
I
love
saw
that
them
album.
at Portsmouth Pyramids.
How's that?
Yeah, it was fine.
Okay, cool. What am I into?
And
I
metal.
don't think anyone asked, but yeah, go on. What are you?
Did you not?
I asked.
No, go on.
Oh,
I
go
asked,
go
and then
on.
I immediately started talking about myself again.
Yeah.
But yes, I also loved
There we go.
heavy music when I was younger, and I still listen to it because nostalgia.
Yeah.
Immediately started talking about himself again.
Oh no, please.
So do you listen to Metallica and stuff like that? And we will get to you in a second, Steve.
Not
So-
Metallica, but like I was proper into like like emo and like
Yeah.
My Chemical Romance? Were they quite a big band for you?
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Funeral for a Friend, Killswitch Engage, bands like that, and I'll still listen to them
Right.
because it's like hits that nostalgia.
Sorry, Steve. So what, Lucas? Did you listen to Deftones and things like that, kind of at the drive-in? Or
No, at the drive-in, I saw them live recently.
Oh, really? Oh, they reformed, didn't they?
Yeah.
And Steve, we will get to you in a
I
second.
saw them supporting.
Yeah, yeah,
I saw them supporting Royal Blood, who is a new band that actually broke through my barrier of not listening to new bands.
Royal Blood are okay.
They're good.
Yeah, it's quite impressive what he does with the bass, and we will get onto you in a second, Steve.
Yeah,
and we
no,
will
I
get
just
back.
wanna-
We will
And
get
we'll-
back to Manic Street Preachers.
Manic
as
Street
well.
Preachers at some
Can
point.
So bands
go on then,
Yeah,
Steve.
no, it's fine.
Yeah, could you get on with talking about what music you like, Steve?
I was just waiting for you to interrupt me again. At the moment I'm into like a lot of folk stuff, like Fleet Foxes, Laura Marling, which I know you have an issue with.
What, Laura
Laura
Marling?
Marling.
And Fleet Foxes.
And Fleet Foxes,
Yeah,
interesting. But otherwise, I still listen to the same bands I used to when I was in college, basically. So Brand New and bands like that, which have an interesting kind of thing around the context as well.
Yeah.
You separate the art from the artist and all that sort of stuff. But I have been getting into bands like Gaslight Anthem recently. I don't tend to get into new music. I discover bands that...
discover older music.
Yeah. Like, why was that? Why were people into that? And then figuring out why.
Well,
That's because new
we're-
music is bad.
Well, we're all 30, and new music isn't aimed at us.
Yes.
Oh, what?
Yeah, pretty much. I do like Billie Eilish.
Oh, for the listeners, Adam's doing a face that I cannot describe.
Yeah, it's an indescribable face.
I tell you who I
Yeah, so-
hate. I want it
Okay.
on record that I hate Lewis Capaldi and everything related to him.
I know
Yeah.
nothing
And
about that
I want
guy.
that strictly on the record.
This is the
and
guy that
spread as
stole
wide as possible.
that meme song, isn't it? And again, we will get back to Manic Street Preachers soon.
Oh, yeah. Huh? Oh, yeah.
The one that goes Maya, that one. Didn't he steal that song? And
Did he? Literally, I don't know who he is.
You'd recognise the songs you've probably heard on the radio.
I don't think
because
I
it's
have.
that Maya He song. That's why you'd recognise it.
Okay. Honestly, anyway, let's shall
Anyway,
we? Yeah.
those are the kind of bands we're into. I'm also in. Sort of, yeah, like you said, like the big three for me are REM, Radiohead, and the Manics, and there's stuff like the National and sort of stuff floating around there.
The Bradfield, the Stipe, and the Ugly.
Steve looked at his notes before he said that.
Yeah, I've written that
Have
down
you
here.
written that down?
I've written it here.
Show me. Oh, he circled it.
It's circled it. Hold on. And if you look really close, it says, really good joke.
The Bradfield. So you're calling Tom York ugly?
That's, yeah.
They are all goblins in radio. So that's kind of where we lie on the musical spectrum. But let's get a little bit more. Let's get a little bit deeper, but also a little bit more basic. Lucas, what is music?
Wow.
Come on. We don't want dead air, so...
It's a collection of notes, one after another, that form a pleasing sound.
You can't see, I'm actually crying a bit.
That's interesting though, because that is
Very literal.
a very technical, borderline autistic answer.
I am a computer programmer, it is worth pointing out.
Yeah.
I am not a creative person.
He's a robot man.
I was in a band, and I have played instruments.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
I have
Steve-
plain
oh,
instruments,
okay.
but I would not call myself a creative man.
Okay.
Fair enough. Steve, what is music to you?
To me, how does one answer that? How does one...
It's a simple question, Steve.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
What is music?
Oh my God, everyone's looking at me. Music is an artistic expression of one's soul.
Oh, that's a lovely
That's
answer.
actually deep.
Yeah, that is deep.
Do you like that?
Shall I go?
Yeah, go on.
I think it's a form of communication that reaches beyond what you can just say.
Oh my God.
That's also
I
lovely.
think it's a way of
God.
communicating with other humans
Now
on a much more base level than conversation.
Now let's think about our answers, mine and you, Adam.
Yeah.
And then remember what Lucas
And
said.
let's compare them.
Can I
to
go
Lucas.
The
again?
Robotman.
Can I
Lucas
go again?
Robotman.
No, you can't go again.
It's a series of notes that make pleasing sounds.
I mean, it's...
We've added pleasing sounds.
Did I
There
not
is-
say pleasing before?
There is some kind of emotion. In
I'd like to point out, I'm not fully a
pleased when
robotman.
he
I'm just not.
He hears the sound.
I cry at music regularly enough,
Oh, yeah, I love a cry.
but I couldn't make it.
What?
I couldn't make music
Oh, right, okay.
ever. Well, I mean, I
don't know what
tried.
you're
I was in a
talking
band and
about.
I was the bass player, and we all know bass players are absolute jokes.
Oh, you're a bassist.
I mean, I've sold my
I
bass.
thought you were a racist. I miss her.
Yeah,
Can we just put that on the record that was
what?
I'm
my God.
not a racist.
You're a bassist.
Oh,
Which, as we know, is the joke of the it's. We need a bassist. Can you get a bass?
Yeah.
So that you could be our bassist.
you can play guitar as well, right?
Which is exactly what I mean. I have a guitar.
Okay, fine.
But you can only play the bottom 4 strings.
I can only play the bottom 4 strings.
One at a time.
And yep, not very good at it. I keep saying I'm going to get better at my guitar, and then I don't.
At least you can play an instrument that, if you get a note wrong, it matters. As a drummer, as long as I'm in time,
Right.
which
yeah.
I'm not.
Well, that's your biggest
yeah,
mistake.
yeah.
Right.
Then I can hit the wrong thing and it's fine. That's why.
I've heard your bands.
Yeah, okay.
Again, I asked, Lucas asked to change his answer. So his answer to what is music to you is I play the bass.
Okay.
So that's illuminating.
Yeah.
If the question you're asking is I don't derive a huge amount of meaning from songs. I enjoy melodies and harmonies and the construction of a song.
So if there was a singer who wasn't that good at singing, but the lyrics were incredibly meaningful, you would probably still like that less than someone singing no words but beautifully.
I much prefer Sigur Rós to Bob Dylan, if that's the question you're asking.
Right, no, that is almost exactly the question. Yeah,
I like Bob Dylan. He's decent enough. But yeah,
wow,
I
damning with faint praise.
Yeah,
Bob Dylan,
decent enough.
He's 8.
But like I say, I'm not the person who will look up the lyrics, so I don't. Well, this is the debate we've had.
It seems
the
like you don't
vocal to
listen
me
to
is
lyrics at
another
all,
instrument.
We have a group chat that's arguments,
Yeah, basically.
which is quite good to get that out of the way.
Which started as a Destiny chat, we should mention.
Yes,
is that
it
we
did.
all play Destiny 2.
Yeah. And then
Because we're big nerds.
yeah,
Big friends, big nerds.
But just some big fucking mates, aren't we?
Big mates.
I'm such a big mate.
Just big mates.
I'm not.
Manics.
I'm the
right?
smallest of the three of us.
What?
That's probably
yeah.
that's probably true.
You're taller than me.
Interesting.
This is a very interesting
We were going to
topic.
compare belly sizes, weren't we?
We
gonna
were.
figure
Let's
out
do that
who's
after we've
fatter.
done recording.
I
I've
think
got a
we should
little
do it,
tape measure. We can do that.
I don't want to do that.
Okay. No one was talking about you. Adam.
I'm
You just have to
convinced.
bring it
I'm
back to you,
convinced
don't
that
you?
if we
And
measured
again,
mine and
we'll
Steve's
get on to Manic
belly,
Street Preachers in just a second.
Yeah,
mine
but first
would be
of all,
larger.
belly size.
If you've just joined us, this is the world's only dedicated Manic Street Preachers.
How many
podcast.
minutes
Well,
are we
we
in
don't
before we've
talk
mentioned
about-
the Manic Street Preachers?
I don't know, but also if you've just joined us,
How
Yeah,
how
in a
are you
podcast.
listening to your podcast?
if you've just joined us, rewind to the beginning.
Yeah. The way I like to listen to a podcast is just skip 20 minutes in. How long have we been recording? Actually, let's not go there. Let's go. Do you want
Okay, so I think that the debates about how we listen to music
Yeah.
will come up as we analyse the music.
Which is also worth noting. Although Adam's told me this has to change for the next batch of albums, I have intentionally not read the lyrics to any of the songs of these
Right,
songs.
we've approached these first few albums or first few tracks or however you want to put it as listening to it the way we would usually listen to things. Although, Steve, you might have pulled more duty than you usually do because I know you've got notes and notes and notes of stuff.
Yeah, I would have never have done this with any music before. I don't have any kind of critical analysis background. I would usually put on a song, and if it makes me feel something, it makes me feel something. And I have looked up the lyrics in the past, going back to that, because I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. What's he talking about? Or I've wanted to learn the song to be able to sing to myself in the car. But
Right.
I've never delved into lyrics. Dove?
Delved?
Wizard sleeve.
Delvid.
What?
Delvid.
Okay, I've never delvidated into words in this respect to try and figure out what they mean and what that might mean to the song or the album. But so it's an interesting thing.
But it must conjure some kind of image. Like a lot of lyrics are so kind of emotive and can give you things to think about and images, even if it's not what the artist intended.
Yeah.
So does that happen to you? Because Lucas, you were saying that doesn't happen to you either.
No, it does. But
Okay.
again, worth mentioning. My favourite band is Muse, and their lyrics are either terrible
Don't waste your time, or time will waste you.
or very, very on the nose, and so it's hard not to
Don't waste your
immediately
time or time
picture
will waste you.
the thing that they're mentioning because the lyrics are on the nose.
And when someone says "Don't waste your time" or "Time will waste you,"
How does that make you feel?
what do you think about? What's the picture that comes into your head there?
Big clock?
Big clock,
Pardon?
Big clock, and my face
Don't
is
waste
at the
your time on
12,
time.
A big clock in your face.
and it's at 11:55.
It's at 11:55. Interesting.
What happens at midnight
Interesting.
or midday?
Well, that's the time that you were struck by lightning, isn't it?
I don't understand this bit.
That will be a recurring theme.
Yeah, that'll be Lucas's catchphrase of the podcast.
I don't understand this bit.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I know I do enjoy lyrics, but if I don't hear or get much from the lyrics, I won't seek them out or strive to hear more or learn more. There's songs I probably know every word to that I've never really put the lyrics together in my head about what they're actually saying. I could just sing along to it in my car.
And so when I put forward the idea that I think context can improve a song, what do you think about that?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But the context of what my expectations of Manic Street Preachers were, and then the first song from Generation Terrorists, I liked it a lot more because the context of my expectations being, I think it's going to be XYZ, and it was ABC, made it better.
Right. Okay.
But that's not really lyrically, that's musically.
Something. Yeah, that is something slightly different. That's just something exceeding or subverting your expectations. Like, do you think that knowing about the history of a band could improve the way that you perceive their music?
Well, I know that you've obviously talked a bit about what's to come.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I need to learn more about it before we listen to...
There's a really interesting recent-ish example of context completely changing an album, which is David Bowie's last album.
Very good
fair
point. And that album was exceptional. And
how did you feel about the album?
Yeah,
you know,
it definitely
the day it came out, as opposed to
stood
3
out
days
more
after it came out.
as because of his death, and you could feel it in the music and everything, and that was absolutely.
So
that's pretty high in terms of the something big changing how an album is received.
Yeah.
What would be interesting over the course of the podcast, even just listening to music, is if it does change the way we listen to music, just because we're having to try something different, and that's quite a good thing, right? You're going to probably, I hope, end up looking at lyrics.
I have to, Dad.
Because Adam's told you.
Adam's declared it.
Demanded it.
But then you might listen to something else completely unrelated to the homework we've been set, and think, actually, no, look, I'm gonna have a go at that and see if that changes it.
Delve a little bit deeper.
The other thing is, it's quite hard to do that because I do 80% of my music listening in my car.
Same.
And so you can't really look up the lyrics when you're driving along.
You can.
But you can save it for like when you get home.
I'd have forgotten by then.
Do you never sort of think like, right, I'm going to experience this album and genuinely do nothing else except put your headphones on and listen to the album?
I will do it the first time a new Muse album comes out. I'll pop my headphones on. I'll sit down
God, you fucking love
with a
Muse,
cup of
don't you?
tea, and I'll listen to it in its entirety, top to bottom.
Yeah.
And then I'll listen on shuffle. No,
Shuffle
no, I
on
don't shuffle immediately. The shuffle doesn't come until you're on like listen number 50.
I would never shuffle an album.
Oh, I shuffle albums.
The way I listen
all
to
the
music,
time.
I listen to albums, or unless it's a playlist.
Ooh la la.
I do sometimes. I will sometimes be like, I want to listen. You know, like just the other day, I was driving along and I was like, I really fancy listening to the Neon Bible.
Guys,
by Arcade Fire.
I listen to albums.
I don't listen to music. I listen to albums.
Records. So I will, but like it's not my default position. I'll go on. Oh, I want to listen to Arcade Fire. Shuffle everything they've ever made and just shuffle it.
So you wouldn't. And do you ever think like, okay, I'm going to revisit an album, and listen to it front to back?
Yeah, I'll do it. If I know I've got a long car journey ahead, I'll go, you know what? I'm driving for 2 hours, so I can bang on Funeral.
Yeah.
And I'll listen to it top to bottom.
So one of the things I find fascinating about the context of music is that actually it can also apply to your mood. So sometimes I'm feeling a certain way, and I would like to revisit an album in that kind of mood.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Lucas is staring at me like he is.
No, I'm trying to think if I've ever done that.
So in terms of my love for the band Brand New, like there's certain albums that if I'm feeling sad, well then I want to feel that more.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bit fucked up, and I'll put on that. But if I'm like excited or I'm going out or I'm driving to something that I'm looking forward to, then I'll put on a bit more of an upbeat album,
right?
To kind of get.
I think that's pretty much everyone.
Have you ever done it the other way around?
Oh,
next time you're going out for a night out,
Yeah.
put on the saddest album you can find.
Sure. Okay.
Just
Yeah.
And tell me what happens, because again, that will kind of change. I think it will change your perception of the album a little bit in some way. It's got to.
But then I turn up to the party dull and uninteresting, Adam.
What's different?
don't think that. Yeah, exactly. That's
What?
What's different?
So?
Also,
I'm just trying
you
to-
don't get invited to parties.
Yeah.
It's
What
good.
party is this?
So I go upstairs. And
What?
I
Where's
was
this
gonna
going?
go upstairs. That's...
You're going to go upstairs now.
You know this
No,
isn't a
I
party.
tried something, didn't I?
You know you being here right
What
now
are you
isn't
talking
you
about?
being invited to a
This
party.
isn't a party, Steve.
Let's go back and analyse that. Okay.
What were you trying
I
to
don't
say?
get invited to parties, so my idea of me travelling to somewhere was just me walking upstairs and sitting down. Because I don't
In
get
your
invited
own
anywhere
house.
in my own house. I tried it.
You
It didn't
tried
work.
it. Okay.
didn't work.
We're
It
going to
was-
see a lot of that as well. That's going to be your catchphrase.
That tea you're about to take a sip of is going to be ice cold.
Cold air.
Let's find out, shall we?
This is tense. Oh. Oh, it's right in my ears.
It was cold.
Yeah.
I mean, I finished
okay.
mine a long time ago,
Yeah,
and it
mine's
was getting cold.
I mean, if any Manics fans are listening, they have fully tuned out now.
Manic? Oh, yeah. Sweet. Right.
Right, I think, okay, so we want to delve into the history, and I think the most interesting way to do this is to start with Lucas. Lucas, what do you know about the Manic Street Preachers?
This is what I now know, not what I knew before we started the process of doing this podcast.
Give us both. Give us what
Well,
you
before
used
I've already
to know.
given you, which was, as far as I'm concerned, they're a bunch of 42-year-old men in a t-shirt and a blazer playing dad rock, and that was literally all I knew.
And you know history.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. You don't know where they're from. You don't know their names.
I knew they were British.
Okay.
Didn't know where from in Britain. Turns out they're Welsh.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
Yep.
Tick.
I know that now.
Do you know where from in Wales?
Probably Bridgend. That's where all the bands are from.
Where?
Bridgend.
No.
That's where there was like a load of emo bands from Bridgend in like the noughties,
Yeah. They're
including
not.
Lost Prophets.
Oh, so Bullet for My Valentine?
Yeah, and Funeral for a Friend.
They're Welsh.
They're from Bridgend.
Oh, God.
Now I know that there's not much more except the fact that at some point after, but later, the albums like we haven't yet listened to, someone goes missing, and that has an effect on the band.
You would assume that it does, yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. That's about all I know.
That's it. Steve, what do you know? Can you expand on that at all?
Expand. Is that something? Adam's gouging his eyes out?
Yeah.
Formed late 80s?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Welsh.
Well, probably mid-80s.
James Dean Bradfield, Nicky Wire,
Oh, shit.
Richie,
Yeah.
Edward,
Yeah.
and Sean Moore
Yeah.
on the drums.
Look at that.
So
Look at that, Lucas.
I've written here Sean Moore.
Research.
There's a joke around his name, but I haven't figured out.
Sean, give me some
No.
more.
Yeah,
I can just
I'm-
see on Steve's notes, just a little spoiler alert, I can just see
Whoa.
massive capital letters that say fuck off. And I can't wait to know what that is referring to.
I think
Sean Moore?
I think that's referring to one specific song on Generation Terrorists.
Yeah.
But looking at my notes, I've got it written down next to 6 or 7 of the songs on Generation Terrorists.
I've got it next to Lucas's name. So what else have I got here?
Why did you write my name down in the notes so you forget it?
Yeah, Daniel.
Daniel Way.
Danny Way.
The big D.
No.
No?
And again, I know that Richie goes missing. It's assumed he took his own life. Lucas has nearly knocked over all the equipment. Yeah, and that's about it, really. I'm aware of like the images they used to have and things like that, but otherwise it's quite limited. To be fair, I don't
Okay.
know the ins and outs.
I think that's
Sean
probably...
Moore. Sean Moore.
Sean Moore.
There's something around.
We'll get to it. I think you're right. There's something there,
I got.
and we'll come up with something.
Hold on.
Sean
Wales,
Moore.
sheep. Wait, don't. Okay, he was on it. Hold on. Here we go. He was on a.
There's no way he hasn't written this whole thing.
I haven't written this down. You can right. There's something around sheep. Carry on.
No, I'm going to let you
We
figure
can
this
sit
out.
You,
Hold
I'm
on.
gonna let you sit in that.
He worked. Hold on. Before he was in a band. This is it.
Okay.
Before he was in a band,
He was a civil servant.
He is he?
Yeah.
He worked on a sheep farm, and he really enjoyed shearing the sheep. He joined the Manics, but he wished he'd shorn more. Adam, Lucas.
That took a long time to get.
It's,
He looks so pleased with himself.
shorn more.
That's Steve's love.
Shorn.
Just so you know.
Shorn more. Oh God. Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
If anyone found that tedious, stop listening now and
Switch
tune out.
off,
Don't
yeah.
bother.
Don't tell them to stop listening.
I'm just doing a public service.
Adam,
Because
why
if
you
you didn't
unplug-
enjoy
hold on,
that,
hold on.
you're not going to enjoy this.
Adam's unplugging my
Just
microphone.
turning you all the way down.
Yeah.
So they aren't from Bridgend, but they are from. Is Bridgend in South Wales?
Pass.
Pass.
Yep.
Sure. They are from South Wales. They're from Blackwood, which is a very small mining, or was a very small mining community in South Wales. Richie said about it, if you built a museum to represent Blackwood, all you could put in it would be shit.
Great.
Rubble and shit.
So, good place.
And I wonder, yeah. It sounds really boring. And it sounds like the only thing you can do there is form a band.
Sure.
And you're absolutely right. There's Nicky, Richie, James, Sean Moore.
Yeah. There's something
Sean
around that.
Moore.
Yeah.
Well, there is something, and we'll get to it. I think we'll really.
No, we got there already.
I think we'll get to it. I think we could tighten that up a little bit, and we'll get to it.
And that'll be its own podcast.
Yeah,
Sweet.
James and Sean are cousins.
Didn't know that.
There you go. That's interesting, isn't it? Is it interesting? How does that change the music for you, Lucas?
Not in the slightest.
Knowing that the lead singer and lead guitarist and the drummer are cousins.
All three of them.
Wait, what?
The lead singer and the guitarist are the same person.
Okay.
Oh, fine. Okay. Yeah.
Wait.
yeah.
Wait, what?
Wait. What are their names again?
James and Sean Moore.
So not the one that goes missing.
No, that's Richie.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. No
nothing.
emotional reaction to that.
He's a robot.
They were cousins.
They were cousins. So how does that change
The music.
the first album for you, or the first EP? And by the way, just to let you know, 40 minutes in, we'll be covering New Art Riot today.
Oh, yeah.
Probably means arranging the recording process is probably a bit easier. 'Cause
Interesting,
they're
yes.
family and they probably live near each other.
I think they lived in the same house for a little while.
Well.
So
It changes nothing for me.
Yeah, I'm stretching.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
that's. Could you
Oh.
stop actually, because that is
How are
disgusting.
you sat?
So yes. Anyway, they grew up together. They've all known each other. Well, I mean, James and Sean were cousins, but broadly, they've been a group of people since the age of 5.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Which is really impressive.
So basically all family.
Yeah,
If you know
pretty
each other
much.
for that long, right?
Pretty much.
Mind you, I suppose there wasn't a lot of people in Blackwood, right?
Not very many people at all.
Yeah.
It's like I say, a small. Well, maybe not as small as you're imagining. There were 12 pits in the Blackwood area, which obviously I mean mining pits.
Yeah.
Coal mines.
Yeah. What did you think?
Lucas's context corner.
Yeah.
Can I throw out a guess?
Yeah.
Does the closing of the mines
Mm-hmm.
and Thatcherism
Mm.
factor in to the music they create?
Oh, Lucas.
Oh, I've caught something. haven't I?
Very
That's it.
heavily.
I am.
Thanks for
Yes.
listening.
I
This has
am.
been Do You Love Us?
On to
We-
something.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I was going to say.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's context.
But no, you're absolutely right. The strike in 1984, the Manics would have been around sort of age 15, 16. And
So young, angry, as it is anyway.
yeah, young and angry. And, South Wales has always been a very kind of socialist environment, which I think has informed not only their upbringing, but their lyrics. And you see, the thing about the Manics that not a lot of people think about. They either think that, they do dad rock if they came to them very late, Lucas. And they, if they got to them very early, some people would just assume that they were quite angry punks. But the thing I find about the Manics music is that it's all quite sad. There's like...
I will say, throughout it is a good old chunk about suicide and drugs.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one of the few notes I've written. Well, we'll get there. But I wrote, suicide again.
Yep. Yeah. There is a huge current of sort of like real sadness behind the lyrics and behind the songs. Even when the song is like the most upbeat thing in the world, the lyrics, they aren't just like sort of political. They aren't just sort of angry. There is an actual kind of sadness behind it. And I think that growing up in sort of like the strike environment must have like contributed to that rather.
Who wrote the majority of the lyrics? Was it Richie?
It's Richie and Nicky.
Right.
They're kind of the lyricists.
Which one's the singer again?
James.
So when you were showing me that little art book earlier, I remarked to Steve the fact that the man I would consider the front man, the lead singer, isn't like the sort of focal point of all the pictures. He's
correct.
So is he not sort of the face of the band?
Not really.
Interesting.
Yeah, isn't it?
So do you want to say what we were looking at?
For people, we were looking at Assassinated Beauty by Kevin Cummins, which I brought as like kind of a visual aid for like the fashion of the Manics early on, because that's quite difficult to convey when we're just listening to albums or we're doing a podcast. But I think Manics fans will be fully kind of, if you're listening to this and you're not a Manics fan, just like Google Manic Street Preachers leopard print.
I mean, just for listeners now, just to give them a kind of visual, I'm sat here in a leopard print dress with culture slut written across my forehead.
Yes.
But I was going to do that anyway.
That's true.
So
you didn't know we were recording a Manic Street Preachers
I didn't know we were recording
today.
it until you just said that then. It's quite good that I've written these notes.
Yeah, that is lucky.
Happens, yeah.
I think anyone who listens to Generation Terrorists would immediately know that they are wearing leopard print.
Right? Okay.
I think that album screams leopard print.
Does it?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I see
Okay.
what you mean. Yeah. It does conjure up very like classic rock and roll sort of
Yeah,
imagery.
and maybe a sash.
Yeah, a sash.
Yeah, like a sash.
They used to wear a lot of feather boas.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
We're becoming tangential again.
Yeah.
Well, we
You
are
right,
literally talking
baby.
about the Manic Street Preachers.
I
It's
know,
the
but we
furthest
were
tangent we've managed so far.
Yeah.
But we were talking about the sadness of their lyrics, and I think that was informed by the strike environment, like I was saying, and like having to. I mean, they grew up and just basically watched everyone around them lose, because everybody they knew did not win when it came to the mining strike. And only of the 12 pits in the Blackwood area, one was reopened, which means
They were right then, weren't they?
there was. It was just a very busy coal mine. Obviously, there was huge amounts of unemployment. I mean, ultimately, loads of pits closed and unions were weakened and Thatcher won, and it's just it was a bad time for everyone. And Steve, I know you're a civil servant, so you have to be balanced. So I know that you'll say that you're glad all the pits closed and you're a huge supporter of Thatcher. Is that right?
Yeah,
But also it's bad because
but
it's
also
balanced.
on the flip side, bad. But also good. But also real bad.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Way to toe the line.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to remain neutral.
That was
That's
good,
correct.
right?
I feel like you could probably...
My favourite colours are red, blue, green, yellow. Oh God, what if I miss one out right now? Carry on.
You know there's
No, go
like
on,
an
can you
infinite number of colours as well.
There's
Oh my
an
God.
infinite number
Well,
of
okay, there's a
colours.
lot. There's millions.
And if you're just tuning in now, this is the world's only podcast dedicated to Manic Street Preachers.
Why would people be tuning
And
in
we're
now?
talking about the different kinds of colours.
There is loads, right?
There's loads of colours.
Yeah.
Open MS Paint, you can see there's at least 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose so.
20 colours.
Anyway, the Manics kind of carry with them through their whole career this sort of like weird kind of air of like resignation and defeat and sadness that I think informs a lot of their work. And I think not a lot of people give them enough credit for those kind of like multi-layered sort of things they bring into their lyrics.
Guilty.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we'll get onto it, but some of their lyrics are indecipherable anyway. So if you're not looking them up, you won't necessarily
Well,
get
this
here we go.
anything.
You
This
are-
is, which almost makes me think, how many people actually got that message because all they could make out was gibberish,
Yeah.
apart from the odd bit about making him howl.
That's later, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
later.
James talks about this really kind of like strong image of like a really big, strong mining guy having to be retrained in typing. And I think that like kind of solidified a sense of like I think they had a really good idea of what it is to be out of place. And I think that comes through. I think the Manics have always been an out of place band. They are like very well read and intelligent, which stereotypically doesn't mix with the world of rock and roll that often.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep. You mean it wasn't just talking about drinking and banging women and snorting cocaine and
exactly.
having a good party?
In fact, if they mention any of those things, it's
done in a kind of isn't this sad?
A really sad, kind of depressing, angry kind of way.
I'm already regretting not reading the lyrics.
Are you?
Well, because
interesting.
when I listen to that, like when I listen to Generation Terrorists, I picture snorting cocaine and banging women.
Yeah,
but you do that when you listen to
anything,
like Wheels
any
on the Bus.
sounds.
Yeah.
No, I really
any sounds at all.
You hear a car honk and you're like, oh shit.
But that definitely, like the style of music that is. I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself because this is not.
We're not talking about
not the episode
we'll
about Generation Terrorists.
That's fine. This is kind of an introductory kind of episode. So.
That is not. When I hear that album, I definitely think of banging prostitutes and snorting cocaine.
Again,
out of their arse
Old
crack.
MacDonald had a farm. You're thinking the same thing.
Do they out of the arse crack?
It's definitely been done.
I thought they blew it
crack
up
on crack.
The hole.
What? Talk to me more. No. Give me an
blow
image.
cocaine up someone's bumhole.
Yeah.
What? And then it like absorbs into the arse.
I thought that was a thing.
Oh.
I can't say that I've tried it myself.
There was
Big
definitely
wink.
There was definitely.
Do you say big wink
Just
every time you wink?
Or is that a big wink at Steve?
But do you say big wink every time you...
Yeah.
Okay,
big
yeah,
wink.
just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case you're on, a podcast where no one can see you wink.
All this talk of focusing cocaine.
Big wink from Lucas there. Big wink from Lucas.
Yeah. That's the noise of me winking. That sounds odd. Oh, boy.
Anyway, what do you do if it's the mid-'80s and you're fucking bored out of your mind in Blackwood with your three mates?
It's got to be a way of getting aggression out, right? Especially to try and... I mean, I guess they're going to be listening to a lot of punk music.
Not yet.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Here's what they decide to do, which again I think comes out through the rest of their career, is they turned inwards. So rather than expressing themselves outwardly, they would spend all of their time in their bedrooms together reading books.
Not what I expected you to say.
They wanted to become the cleverest sort of people, and I think that they wanted to kind of stand apart from... There's this interesting dichotomy, and I think that word's going to come up a lot because it's one of my favourites. Excuse me. In the world of Manic Street Preachers.
Googling. Hold on.
Okay. D-I-C-H.
No, what?
D-I-C-H.
No, I think he's Googling the word.
Oh. W-E-R-D.
I put in D-I. I put in D-I. Lucas, for the people at home, can you just read out what it came up with when I put D-I in?
Why is this? Do you search this regularly?
What does it say?
Dick's fuck assholes speech.
So that's what came up.
Which I guess is referring to the...
What did you say?
To the speech from the groundbreaking Team America World Police.
Yeah.
What the hell was I saying?
You were talking about...
There's an interesting dichotomy
in
the world of Manic Street Preachers, which is this kind of idea of wanting to stand apart from the working class, but also seeing themselves as very working class and being a part of that world, that kind of class solidarity versus the sort of intellectual snobbery. And I think you can feel that in a lot of their work.
Just reading up on... Sorry to interject. Just reading up on the lyrics. When you listen to it, you... Maybe in the later albums when you can hear what they're talking about a bit, but it's got obviously a good tune to it. It's got a hook, blah, blah, blah. When you look at the lyrics, it's like reading poetry in terms of... It doesn't look like that should translate into a song. And I would say that some of the songs, it doesn't really work. I'm trying to...
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, it's like he's really forced the lyrics into it, but I quite like that. that you can then, what Lucas doesn't do, go back and you read it, and
Yeah.
it does look like a good bit of writing. And I think the fact that they sat and read books and wanted to become judges, I think that does come through.
Well, this is the other thing with Manic Street Preachers that I always found quite interesting, and it's actually quite difficult to do, is that with most bands, they will write a piece of music and then write the lyrics and the melody to that music. And the Manics always start with lyrics.
And then write the music around that.
Nicky and Richie either collaborate, or one of them will hand a lyric sheet to James, and he will go away and write a song around that lyric.
Okay.
So,
But will they give him a tune or anything? Or
No.
they've just written lyrics and he'll try and fit that around?
when they started the band, and we're going to come on to this in a bit, when they
Okay.
started the band, neither Nicky or Richie could really play an instrument.
Okay.
So there was no music for them to offer him, really. James kind of, like you said, it comes across as though he had to force those lyrics into a melody, because he did.
Right.
You know, those some of those lyrics read more like political manifestos,
Yeah.
or something like that, than they do like something that should be sung.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's exactly
So I think,
what I was trying to...
I think
yeah.
you're absolutely right. Like, they come from, they're sort of, they were a lot more, their lyrics are just, they're talking about something completely different than any other band was sort of at
Yeah.
that moment. And I think it's because they used to just, you know, when they were 15, 16, sit around in their bedrooms and read loads of
Yeah.
books.
So interestingly, the context has made me appreciate this EP that we're going to listen to in a
Interesting. Okay.
a
Has
lot
it
more.
though? Because you can't make out those lyrics.
No, but as a bit of artistry, as a complete piece, now it means something a bit more than here's a bit of Clash sounding punk
Yeah.
rock.
I know. Yeah,
Anyway.
I know exactly what you mean. Like, okay, the song on the face of it, the text, as it were, especially for New Art Riot. I mean, we'll come on to this, but maybe it doesn't communicate its message very clearly. But delving deeper, you know, and doing something like reading the lyrics apart from the music or along with the music, does give you that, and it does help
Sure.
you to appreciate sort of like that, the message of the music a little bit more.
Do either of you read poetry ever? That's an interesting.
I don't sit. Occasionally, a bit of poetry will come up that someone's posted or something on social media, or someone has talked about, and it will grab me.
Well, you've also written a book of poetry, haven't you?
Yeah. But it's
Limericks.
But the thing, the
yeah,
thing
it's
is that
limericks. It's
he's never read it.
no, I've never read it. I've written it, and it's
But
limericks.
he has no idea what it's about.
No. I don't know what it's about, but I'm aware it exists, and I've locked it away in a vault that's protected by these glowing runes. So, take away from that. But if it's the context behind the glowing runes that gives it. What the fuck?
And what they used to do when they sat around in their bedroom.
Sure, yeah.
I don't understand this bit.
And there's the catchphrase.
Yeah, there we go. To lean right in for that.
When they would sit around, they would also kind of like watch old films, listen to music, read poetry, and they would. The big thing that they had was like almost this insanely diplomatic view that all art was equal and discussed with equal seriousness.
Okay.
So if it was a carry-on film, you had to evaluate that piece of art as seriously as you did a poem by
A soldier in the
a
trenches.
famous poet. Is T.S. Eliot a poet?
Well, that answers my question about do you ever read poetry?
No, yeah, not really.
No.
No.
I have a favourite poem.
Do we
Okay.
need to hear it?
Nope.
Okay, now go on. Read us your favourite poem.
No, you carry on.
Does it start with the line, I froze your tears and made a dagger?
And stabbed it in my cock. What is it? What's the word?
Let's not do the
No,
whole poem.
things from the office. No, I'll find it, and if it's
The Office podcast didn't work, so we
Different
don't need
office,
To...
Are you
right?
going to try and segue this into an Office podcast?
Nah, it failed already.
Oh,
Also, mine was about the
Lucas, I'm
American
so sorry.
Office, and that bit's from the British one.
That's true.
I do know every line to that poem, though, and I once went to a pub quiz hosted by Big Keith from The Office, and you had to. One of the questions was to know the name of that poem, and I wrote it down, and then I wrote "Please turn over" next to it, and on the back of the piece of paper, I wrote the entire poem in the hopes that I'd get more points.
Did you?
Nope.
Well, that was a waste of your time then,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Don't think he even turned it over. Don't think he even marked them. I'm pretty sure he had like a lackey.
Okay. When they hang on. Yeah, Big Keith was not marking the trivia quiz thing. Of course, he wasn't.
He might have been. Don't think he was though.
No, I don't think he was. When they were discussing all art with equal seriousness.
I did find the poem, and I realised it would be pretentious as shit to read it out loud. So,
Oh, you found the poem?
yeah.
Oh, so when they were in their bedroom, discussing art, they would do this with a few of their other friends, and they they referred to themselves as the Blue Collective.
Why?
It's like an art collective, like
Sure.
people, like
Yeah.
Sure.
kind of. It's a very French sort of philosophical thing to do. I think.
Yeah.
Was that ever the name of the band?
No,
Are we gonna? Oh,
no, it wasn't. But I think that also shows like kind of wanting to break out of small town sort of vibe.
I've only just put together what their band name is in my head. Like
Manic
the
Street
centers,
Preachers.
like they're like Manic Street Preachers, like
Yeah.
like people who preach on the street, like manic.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
Yep.
Never put that together.
What did you think it was?
Just four
Some
words.
words.
Just four words.
It's 3 words.
It's 3 words.
Yeah.
And I just never.
I think that's a really good example of how you look at sort of
I will say,
stuff like that.
same, but 10 years ago, I realised
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I'd get it.
We'll come on to it.
Sure.
That's more just me being stupid.
No, I think that's how you don't look for deeper meaning in things.
Maybe.
You just hear
They're
some
the
words
Manic
together,
Street Preachers,
and it doesn't matter what they mean.
Yeah,
Cool.
Maybe.
maybe.
Mabes.
Robot Man. They would kind of like write verse and plays together,
Yeah.
which is, I think we can all agree, pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they also started experimenting with makeup. I mean, we've got the big book of photos here. You can see that their eyeliner is on point. But of course, they're doing this in a mining town in South
Yeah.
Wales. So they're walking around with that, tight little leopard print coats on, and their hair very nicely coiffured, I suppose you would say. And
Would you?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I would, and I have. Okay. And their eyeliner and their eyeshadow. So, of course, they were shouted at in the street. Yeah. I think Nikki got beaten up for wearing a Kylie Minogue t-shirt.
Right.
That's the kind of environment that they were dealing with at the time. I actually do have a quote, which I think this is very interesting and telling, this quote. And again, we'll add good context. This is
Adam
what
pointed
Nikki
at
said.
each of us when he said that.
Yeah.
It was
They
great.
didn't actually clicked at me and pointed at you.
Interesting.
This is what Nikki said.
Sure.
I didn't look at those people and think worthless scum. If they've been working in a factory all week, then they've got every right to get smashed out of their brains and take the piss out of my haircut.
Yeah.
So
Fair
that
dues.
is, again, kind of this dichotomy. You might want to Google it again just in case you've forgotten.
Yeah.
Class solidarity versus elitism.
Sure.
This kind of idea
He
of like standing
understood
apart.
where they're coming from.
Yeah, exactly. He completely understood where they're coming
But
from.
wanted to
to stand apart from
stand
it.
apart from them.
Yeah. And also this is kind of like the first sort of bit of the idea that Nicky Wire loves to be hated, which becomes a much bigger part of their career when he starts saying outrageous things on the stage for no reason.
Right. I can't wait to get to that.
Just to anger people. But we'll, like I said, we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit there. They would emulate the Paris cafe culture. Are you familiar with the Paris cafe culture?
Do go on.
Of sort of like the late 60s. So, they would... The cafe culture is kind of sitting around, sipping coffee for a long time, talking about philosophy,
and art.
smoking, really putting the world to rights, talking about existentialism, stuff like that. So they would sit in a greasy spoon, dressed in Kylie Minogue t-shirts and leopard print coats with eyeliner on, and like reading the Communist Manifesto, and smoking in the greasy spoon in Blackwood. Which, I mean, they must have looked like a real bunch of wankers.
Yeah. I mean,
and Friday nights were spent discussing politics and philosophy. And that was what they kind of did with their time.
But it's admirable, right? Like that they didn't give a fuck that they're clearly gonna.
Yeah,
But I guess that
and that's
feeds into
what I
what they
mean.
wanted. That they wanted a reaction.
Kind
Or-
of, but also that's what I mean when I say they, started turning inward.
Sure,
They didn't express that
they were just their
towards.
very
It
own.
wasn't aimed at other people. They were like their own little gang, and it was
Yeah.
kind of them standing apart from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And I think that is kind of a lot of their early career anyway.
Yeah.
It's like they're a little gang, and it's them versus everyone. And I think at that point is when they kind of discovered the Situationists. Heard of the
That
Situationists?
means nothing to me. Oh, yes.
A philosophical movement against capitalism.
It's something that came up when I was going to write about it, and I didn't. But when I was looking at the history around New Art Riot, and that's where the title comes from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all I know about it. I didn't look into it.
Okay, it'll come up more on Generation Terrorist because I
Okay.
think that's the album that fits the model more.
Right.
I figured it was a band.
I mean, it does sound like a good name for a band.
The Situationists.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Thanks for your input.
Yeah,
Lucas.
cheers, Lucas.
The pleb starts to show his colours.
Around that time, James saw a documentary about punk and was introduced to The Clash. So he and Nicky went busking with Nicky on guitar at this point rather than bass.
Okay. Which he can't play.
He can just about play like some
chords.
like chords
Okay.
on like power chords
Fine.
on guitar, I think.
Hit me.
And they were very angry buskers. I think you can probably see where this is going. They would chastise anyone who threw money at them. So if someone like chucked a quid at them, they'd tell them to fuck off.
Right.
Because they were just trying to get the message across rather than do it for any kind of like
Yeah,
money. They wouldn't
sure.
do, they'd do Clash covers and stuff like that. And then they started being referred to as
The Situationists.
fuck's sake.
The Manics.
Manic
Street
Preachers. I get it.
So the band.
I'm
didn't
glad
really-
I got it before you told me that.
Yeah,
I'm glad
yeah.
I just before finally got the band name.
So the band didn't exist yet, but the name kind of did. And at that point, it actually the band is still kind of not even really an idea at that moment. Nicky and Richie go to uni. Richie, there's the start of some kind of worrying behaviour starting to creep in. He starts drinking neat vodka to help him sleep. He lives with Nicky when they're both at Cardiff University. Sean becomes a civil servant. And James went on the dole and did cash-in-hand bar work. And he'd send some of that money to Nicky, who had a gambling debt, because they are also big mates. Yeah, just like us.
Just like some big fucking
Just big fucking mates, aren't they?
Yeah.
You
I'd never
do
said
realise
money.
that the big mates bit was from a take of the intro that we deleted.
I don't. Oh.
So there's no context to that.
Oh.
I'll put it at the end because I think context will improve that joke.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
When James wasn't working at the bar, he would spend the day with the curtains drawn in his living room, learning all of Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses by ear.
Okay.
So he didn't have if I want to learn a song, I'll get the tabs up from the internet, and he just sat there with his guitar.
All parts.
Yeah,
Wow.
just learning it again and again and again. And that's actually mirrored. I mean, you'll see that later in their kind of studio ethic, which is what they do. They just hole up in a place with no outside distractions and just record,
Wow.
super focused. The band is formed in 1988. Take me through the members of that band, Lucas. Let me see if you're paying attention.
Ooh.
Nicky,
Yep.
Nicky something.
No, I don't worry about second names.
Unbelievable. We've
Unbelievable.
said- like,
We've talked about this.
I've
so
got
any of the
Nick-
names.
I've got Nicky,
Yep.
Nothing comes
then-
up that reminds you.
Chris.
Like a really funny joke anyone might have done. Anyone did a really
there
funny
was
joke.
Sean Moore.
Yeah. He's on
Something.
the drums.
How many? 3,
4.
I don't know how many drums he had.
4.
Fuck's
Sean Moore, Nicky, James.
Yeah.
Don't know the other 2.
The other two.
that would make 5. This is amazing.
Oh, Nicky and James. Okay, not Nicky James.
Oh, so when Adam mouthed to you, James.
I thought you were saying Nicky James.
Great. Jesus.
All right. So
Yeah, Adam is
who are the
helping
members
me
of the-
along.
Who are the members of the band?
James Dean Bradfield on vocals and guitar. Richie Edwards on.
No.
Sorry?
Oh, it's a trick question.
Richie's not in the band when they form.
Okay, I didn't know we were doing
There
this
you
now.
go.
That's why I was saying 3. There's 3. I
There
knew
we
that.
go.
But there's not. There's 4.
There is another...
There's a guy
yeah,
called
yeah.
Flicker
Oh, yeah.
who is on the bass because Nicky at this point is still on rhythm guitar.
Okay.
Flicker is like a proper punk. He's got like the mohawk and the studded leather jacket and stuff. You can see him in a few early photos. And they released a single which I haven't actually even bothered to send to you guys called Suicide Alley
Shocking.
in
What a shocking title.
June 1988, which was self-financed, and the artwork is a photo of the 3 of them. Flicker's not in the photo for some reason.
Sure.
That photo was taken by Richie, who was kind of like their PR person. They were already kind of paying as much attention to their visuals as they were their music. So they were kind of already starting to do the T-shirts with spray-painted, stenciled logos on, which
We did.
yeah,
We went
did.
we went to see the Manics and we spray painted
song titles or
titles
slogans I
onto
think, yeah.
onto t-shirts, and we went along to the gig and I got that signed by James T. Bradfield.
Yeah, can you remember what your T-shirt
Mine
said?
was rendition.
Did it say rendition? Was it
Yeah.
with a backwards R?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
That's cool, isn't it,
yeah.
Lucas?
That
Yes.
this is James T. Bradfield's response to it. He looked at it and went, huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And then you went, you didn't play it. And he went,
Yeah. And then yeah.
that was about it.
Yep.
He was probably less impressed with having to like sign your sweaty back than he like.
I think it was my tit.
Oh, really?
Oh, you were
Sorry.
wearing the T-shirt at
your
the time.
sweaty.
Yeah.
You wear them to the gigs.
Is this like a thing?
It's a thing. Yeah.
Like if you go to a Manics gig, 20% of the people there will be wearing a
People
spray
will
painted
dress
T-shirt.
up, yeah, and they'll dress up in leopard print and feather boas and stuff
It's like
like that.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
It kind of
A
is,
bit.
yeah. It's like a weird little cult.
A what?
Don't
a
call
weird-
the listeners weird.
Oh, I thought you called Lucas a weird little... What?
Yeah. Okay. Good one.
Yeah. It's not like me to derail your train of thought.
Anyway, they're in McDonald's. It's Christmas, 1988.
Okay, I'm there. Paint me a picture.
James and Richie are beaten up by 15 lads.
15.
15, apparently.
Okay.
This
Has
is the
that been
story.
embellished by them?
I think it might have been
Yeah.
It was
embellished.
3 15-year-olds.
Or 15 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And James's jaw gets broken.
Okay.
So the band is essentially defunct for a little bit, for about 6 months while it heals. After 6 months, they do local gigs, and these local gigs are, as I'm sure you were surprised to find out when we talked about it earlier, Lucas, they were aggressive and raucous, and bottles were thrown and fights were had.
Were the
between-
bottles thrown by the members of the band?
No, well, I think they were thrown by the audience at the band. Maybe a couple were thrown back.
I was going to say they probably returned fire.
So
Yeah.
why so much? Because they were deliberately pissing people off?
Yes.
Okay.
And because, when you play a local gig in Blackwood in 1988,
Sure.
people aren't coming out to see Manic Street Preachers.
Yeah.
That there is a local rugby club,
Yeah.
and they're the band that are put on, and people weren't really in the mood for an aggressive Clash-esque punk band on a Friday night.
Sure.
So they started hurling abuse and bottles at them. Flicker is then kicked out of the band for apparently being too aggressive.
Yeah, right, okay.
Which,
Where's he now?
do you know what? I don't know. If either of you can find out, I'd love to have him on the podcast.
Yeah.
Pull out my phone.
That would be. You're going to
yeah.
see if you give him,
Google
give him a ring.
Flicker.
And Richie was kind of already driving the band around and sending letters to journalists saying, this is the best band in the world and you should be covering them. And he would, write these letters, like personalised letters, and put postcards and stickers and stuff on them. So he was working as like their little PR person anyway. And so James teaches him some power chords on the guitar, and he joins the band.
Join the band.
Yeah. So Nicky moves over to bass.
Right.
Richie's on rhythm guitar.
There we go.
James is on lead guitar and vocals, and the drums are Sean Moore. What?
It's just the way you said it. I think there might be something in there.
Oh, I see what you mean. Sean Moore. Hang on.
Yeah.
There's probably something.
We'll come to it.
We'll work it out.
Yeah, we'll work
I think
it out.
will come later on.
I mean, I did the
Sean
definitive.
Moore.
I did the definitive.
Sean 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 Moore. We'll figure something out.
I don't get this bit.
Jesus Christ.
They moved to London in September 1989. They had their first gig at the Horse and Groom. At this point, Richie is self-harming, and he weighed 6 stone.
And I am 1 month old.
What now?
Yeah.
Oh. Wow, you've got...
Yeah, I've got a growth defect.
Wow.
Yeah. I've rapidly,
You learnt language quickly.
real quick, right?
Yeah, that's mad.
Crack it
But I
out.
didn't know the word dichotomy.
I'm a month old.
Yeah,
Come
but
on,
he
give me a
is
chance.
1 month old.
I'm 1 month old. I'm
Not that impressed.
I'm a 1 month old dressed in leopard print, sat opposite you.
Culture slut written on his forehead.
Yeah, it's going to get weird now, isn't
Something
it? Let's
carved
move on.
into his chest backwards.
Yeah, sure.
In early 1990, there is a handshake deal with the record label Damaged Goods, and it's the result of this. I'm handing out copies of New Art Riot
He's
by
got
Manic
2 of
Street
them.
Preachers.
He's
I've
got
got
2.
2 of them. I don't know why. They are different repressings of it. It was originally released on 12-inch vinyl. It was recorded in 2 days, and I have written here on my notes, no shit.
Is this the flag of the European Union?
It is, yes.
Topical.
Yeah, I know. Very prescient, isn't it?
Good word.
Released on...
I like how you had to look at a big blue background with a circle of gold stars and ask, is that the flag of the European Union?
One thing I find interesting, Adam, is do you always have your CDs in disc cases this way round?
That's how it came. It's so you could see
On
the
the back.
reviews that they have printed. That's how all CD singles were printed. Were packaged.
I prefer Lucas's one.
Do
Because
you?
of this annoying border around the artwork. It's
Yeah.
not working on mic. So
No, it's not
just-
really. Entirely visual bit.
Oh, do you want
Yeah,
to swap? Do you swap
No,
these
no,
identical
no.
albums?
Okay, but carry on. Sorry.
So yeah, like I say, originally released on 12-inch vinyl, limited to 1,000. It came in at the charts at the hefty number of 136.
Sure, so what? This was 1990 this was released, right?
Yes.
So CDs weren't really a thing.
Not really. No. Those are both repressings. I don't have.
That's interesting.
I don't have a.
How much do you reckon one of those original vinyls is worth now?
I don't know.
Some money.
Even at the time, though, they were worth quite a bit of money. They were changing hands for quite a lot when the band blew up after.
Okay, sure.
After they kind of became famous.
Yeah.
And you haven't considered trying to buy one?
I've considered it, yeah, but honestly, they don't come up that often. I think there's probably a couple available on Discogs, but I live in Brighton, and I simply cannot afford vinyl at this stage.
No.
Not rare vinyl, anyway. Maybe I'll have a look when I get home. Maybe I'll have a look.
You've talked him around. Lucas.
Yeah. Production, such as there was any, was done by Robin Wynne Evans. Let's get into it.
Okay.
It's not very good, is it?
Ooh. Okay, so you are just blanket. It's not very good.
But I had no context when I wrote that down.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's what we're here for.
But, just objectively speaking, as a bit of text,
yeah.
not the subtext, it's just sort of a messy, badly produced EP that sounds like most other sort of garage rock bands.
Do you want my general thoughts?
But that's maybe in 1990 that it wasn't.
Well, it was obviously cheap.
To me, it just sounds like anything. If you said, "Oh, it's my mate's band," I saw them at Joiners last week.
Yeah.
I'd go, yeah.
The Joiners being a local club in Southampton.
I
where
think
every band
most
is played.
people know where the Joiners.
Do you think
what the
so?
Joiners is? Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah.
The Joiners is quite a famous venue.
A lot of big bands played there,
Man,
including all three of us at one point or another.
Yeah.
it's but never together.
Never together.
Never together.
Ah.
No, we played together there.
Yes. No, we didn't. That was the Railway Inn in Winchester. Doesn't matter. This is my general thoughts. It's fine.
Thanks for your general thoughts.
No,
Steve.
I like the raw feeling. Like, it's clearly a punk album, and they didn't want to go into this, so it's got a very loose feel around it.
Yeah.
And honestly, probably before delving into it, that was obviously their choice. They didn't want to produce anything that sounded good because of what you've just told me, right?
Agree. I don't think that this is a mistake.
This is them putting out a message of we don't give a fuck.
I think so, and it's you know, it's kind of not very well produced, sort of deliberately. I think. I mean, you can hear every part of the song. It's not like everything.
Apart from
is
the lyrics.
Yeah,
No, but you can hear the lyric. You can
them.
hear the words. You just don't know what they're. Do you know what I mean? You can hear.
You
the
can hear
vocals.
that he is he is singing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But wouldn't
But-
wouldn't that play towards your point of the vocals just being another instrument?
1-0.
Okay, who's keeping score?
Yeah.
No.
That is
It's
1-0.
always it's either 1-0 or it's 1-0 to the other person.
Oh,
There isn't a score.
I would like to keep score.
Well,
Thank you,
fine.
Steve, for writing that down.
It's worth noting though. I've never really been into like messy punk music,
Sure.
so it's just not my jam.
I think that the obvious
And jam.
comparison.
is there something there?
I think that the obvious comparison is the Clash. Is that
100%.
they are just emulating the Clash.
Who
at
I've
this
never
point.
really been that into.
Right. I mean, some of their lyrics are pretty indecipherable, even on sort of like their later albums. It is a choice. It's kind of, I think what they were going for was what James refers to as a produced trashiness, and I think they ended up with just trashiness, and I think the produced trashiness is what they end up with on Generation Terrorists. Yeah. Interesting thing about this is that James played everything except the drums.
Okay.
The drums were Sean Moore, and James
I can't take that
played.
name serious anymore.
What do you mean?
Something.
Sean Moore.
The drums were Sean Moore.
Yeah, when you say
Yeah,
the drums
yeah.
of Sean Moore, I'm now picturing the shearing of a sheep.
I don't know what you're talking
Oh.
about.
Oh, maybe it's something around shearing a sheep.
Ooh, Sean Moore.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. So he played the bass.
Sean the sheep?
Yep.
Something about that?
Yeah.
Because there's a sheep called Sean the sheep, isn't he? He's a beloved children's character.
Fantastic.
And if you're just joining us, you're listening to the world's only dedicated Manic Street Preachers podcast.
/ Aardman animation.
So he played. So James. So he played the bass and both guitar parts and the vocals. Obviously, Sean did the drums. Richie and Nikki are only present in kind of their lyrics.
Sure.
Should we get into it? Should we go track by track?
Yeah.
Let's start with a little bit of the title track, New Art Riot. So that's a bit of New Art Riot.
So straight away, like the intro is out of time.
Is it?
Yeah. Like just where he comes in with drums, and I really like that.
Yeah.
Because as a bad drummer,
you can really relate.
No, it's not.
You're not a bad drummer.
Oh, cheers, mate.
You're a terrible drummer.
Oh, here we go.
Could either of you make out a single word?
Only
No,
because
the
I
lyrics
know
that
them.
we just heard.
Yeah,
So
I-
you know what you're listening for.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Genuinely
any of the songs.
not a single word could I actually decipher there.
Apart from that it's loose and punk rock, I haven't got a lot of notes about this EP, so I went into the lyrics to find something to talk about.
Okay.
Politics, isn't it?
That's a very astute observation.
Yeah.
It's definitely about politics. I tell you what, Lucas, look up the lyrics now.
I'm going to read one.
Okay.
Good thing I've got an iPad in front of me and I didn't do my notes on a piece of paper.
More specifically about politicians, right?
Yeah.
Old men greying to a dying country's needs, waiting for a nighthead. to kill their hours.
Yes, now that's exactly what I have written down. That comes just after the line, which is the first line, vintage aromas and vintage ideals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So straight away, just reading that out, I would never, whenever I've written music, I will write it to an idea of it being a song. And that to me is poetry.
Yeah, it's not,
right?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's intended to be sung at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what I would say about this song and this EP in general is it's already very Manics. And you might not have the context for that yet, but this is already quite a quintessential Manic Street Preachers sound for me. It's relatively simple in terms of structure and in terms of like chords that they're using and ideas that they're using, but it's so full of melody. Like even the opening sort of few bars, you have that lead guitar part, which again, because of the production choices, you can only just about hear over the rhythm guitar part.
It's got a hook.
It's so melodic.
Na, 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 na.
Yeah, exactly.
Lucas is reading the lyrics right now.
He has a very suspicious face.
They still play New Art Riot.
Oh, I think they're right, actually.
No.
They don't?
No.
What do they play anything?
They play Motown Junk.
Right.
Which
okay.
I think is
It's
what
actually
you're
off Generation
thinking of.
Terrorists, isn't it, technically?
No, it's the single before.
But on the
Legacy edition of the remastered Generation
on
Terrorists,
Spotify
it's
it
at
shows
the
up as
end
being
the
part
album.
of Generation
Yeah,
Terrorists.
but this is why I made you a playlist. Of
It
everything in
sounds
the right
so
order.
little like this EP, Motown Junk. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Disagree.
Okay.
I think production-wise,
Yeah.
but I think ideas and message-wise, it's actually fairly similar.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll get to that, I guess.
Yeah. There's loads of stuff in there. There's stuff about sort of car bombs, referencing the IRA at the time. And there's
Hospital
stuff about...
closures kill more than car bombs ever will.
Yep, there you go. I think
But
there's
it
stuff
saves
about...
money because people are expendable.
Yeah. Doesn't sound like a lyric, does it?
No, just like he's telling you something.
But what I think he does with the melody is quite interesting. I'm going to play it again, and we'll have the lyrics now. So the opening line is vintage aromas and vintage ideals. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so listen to what he does. Okay, so when you know the words,
Also, I got the lyric wrong when I read it out.
did you?
Yeah, it's to while away the hours, not kill the hours. So
Yeah, I think the next line is about killing your betters. I think
Right,
that's where
okay.
you got confused.
See, now I know those lyrics. I can hear that.
You can
I
hear
know
it.
that sounds so
but
stupid.
that's yeah.
But what he does with in terms of kind of spacing out the syllables so that they fit a melody is quite
To while
interesting.
away the hour,
Yeah.
he's really trying,
Really
to
focused
fit
on
that.
getting that whole thing into
Yeah.
a melody. Yeah,
because
Which
he
is
didn't
like-
write it as a song. He wrote a poem.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing is, I don't know how often this happens in other bands, but other bands I like, it doesn't happen very often. Like in Radiohead, you kind of see Tom York as the songwriter. He writes the main kind of song and he writes the lyrics and the music at the same time.
Yeah.
And what we have in Manic Street Preachers is a division of that. And the person who wrote the lyrics, there's a few exceptions, but the person who wrote the lyrics is not the person writing the music at this point. So and I think that's interesting because, like you say, like it's not written to be sung.
Well, in the same way you think of the lead singer as the front man.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
physically he is, but you would think
He's
the
at
person.
the front.
Yeah, yeah.
But the person who's got all the attention,
Yeah.
the people rather, are Nicky and Richie, who are the ones who are kind of more
Yeah.
dolled up and glamorous.
Like,
and
I imagine when there was
confrontational.
interviews, it wouldn't be James Steele Bradfield taking lead.
Very rarely, yeah.
Yeah,
They'd
exactly.
want to talk to Richie and Nicky.
Sure.
They were kind of the mouthpiece of the band, if you like. Yeah, very much like that.
And I
frontman
do
role.
like.
You do like, don't you?
Yeah, sometimes.
So, like I say, quintessential Manics for me. I find the lyrics to be very kind of collage-like. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not focused on one political aspect. It's kind of looking at the whole spectrum of politics at the time. Like I say, like it goes everywhere from car bombs to like the rave culture when it mentions drugs and things
Sure.
like that. But like all of these complex ideas are wrapped up in really simple songs. And it's what I really like about Manic Street Preachers is that they make pop music, essentially, but with these very complicated ideas behind the lyrics.
Yeah.
And it feels like they're infiltrating, and it feels subversive, and when you listen to If You Tolerate This, Your Children Will Be Next, you know, big, huge song, massive chorus, and it's kind of inspired by the Spanish Civil War.
I also think a lot of people will shout those lyrics out when they hear it, but they don't actually think all that they're singing.
Right, yeah,
Because
exactly.
it's pretty fucking dark.
But
Yeah.
that's me. That's
Yeah.
me with music.
Yeah.
As I'll sing the lyrics and I won't actually put together what they are
Yeah.
unless they're pretty fucking on the nose.
Right.
Sure.
And so if I tell you that...
'Cause I'm an idiot.
And if I tell you that... If I tell you that If You Tolerate This, Your Children Will Be Next is inspired by the Spanish Civil War and holds a mirror up to those events and the way they were kind of being recreated in modern day politics, do you think that will change how you listen to it the next time?
Yeah, because now I'll be listening for it.
Yeah. And I bet you enjoy it slightly more.
We'll see.
That's
when we get to album
that's
number...
my wager.
Or less.
5.
Many. Oh. Should we go to the next one?
Yeah, let's have a little talk about...
Dine.
Sorry?
Something. What?
Okay, hang on, because we do need to. This is only the first episode, but we do actually need to rein you in a little bit. What was it you were trying? Because as far as I can work out, you said the title of the next song, "Strip It Down,"
Yep.
and you said it in
Yeah.
quite a poor, stereotypical Northern Irish accent.
Yeah.
And when you say you were trying something, what is it you were trying?
I was
Steve?
trying to offend as many groups as possible. Is it working?
It's working. You're offending this group
Yeah.
of people doing this podcast.
Sure.
No, but really,
Sure.
Steve, when you say you were trying something,
Yeah.
what was it
yeah.
you were trying?
Sorry? I don't... What? I was trying
I feel
To
like
be
now he's gonna
a great big fucking mate.
like go in on himself, and he's not gonna.
Oh, no, mate.
He's
I'm
gonna
going
curl
big,
up in a
man.
little
yeah.
ball, and we're
Oh,
gonna lose
no,
the man that
you
was
don't know me
Steve.
at all, do you?
Steve's MO is to go bigger at this point.
Yeah.
So
I'm on self-destruct mode now.
the next song is called "Strip It Down." Let's hear a little bit of that before we really dig in. All right, that's "Strip It Down," and I think again, like it maybe even more so than the last one. That is like a really clear, example of how much melody is in these songs. Like those lead guitar parts are quite cool.
Also, this is just the Clash.
Yeah.
To the ending of the song is the ending to "I Fought the Law."
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't actually catch that similarity. The last minute of this song is like instrumental, isn't it?
No. Yeah. But I mean, literally the do at the end is exactly the
Oh,
same.
yeah.
So I haven't got much to say about it. apart
I mean,
from that I like it.
They've
and I-
always worn their influences on their sleeve. I think. Yeah.
Sure.
I like this one most.
Interesting.
On this EP.
Yeah, I think that this is actually probably the most fun on the EP. Again, I don't know what he's saying.
I had the lyrics up, but it turns out I had the lyrics up to a different "Strip It Down" by a different artist.
Brilliant.
So you
Who
were
was the
very
artist?
confused.
Who was the artist?
Yeah.
Let's have a
Did
little
Strip
look.
It Down.
It was Luke Bryan.
Sure.
And read those lyrics for us.
Yeah.
This is important, is it?
Yeah.
To Luke Ryan, Strip It Down.
Let it fade to black. Let me run my fingers down your back.
It's a different type of
Let's
song.
whisper. Let's don't talk.
What?
Let's don't talk.
Let's don't talk.
Baby, leave my t-shirt in the hall.
It's a similar
It's a similar vibe.
ideals, isn't
There's
it?
a lot of politics wrapped up in
What's his
Let's
name?
Don't Talk.
I've already closed the page.
Yeah, he's gone.
Jack Ryan?
Luke
Is that what you said?
Ryan,
No, Jack Ryan is that Tom Clancy character.
Yeah.
the shadow recruit.
Wow. There we go.
I thought. I mean, you mentioned it sounded like the Clash, which kind of predates who I was going to say it sounds like,
But
Go
you
on.
can still
which
talk
was
about
just
it.
like sort of. Then you say about your mid 2000s indie sort of thing, was
Yeah.
like it sounds like a Strokes riff,
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
which I like. That's probably why I like it.
Yeah, it's got that kind of spiky sort of edge to it, doesn't it?
Yes.
And there's that. Wow, good chat. Good chat. There's that great sort of like palm muting stuff on the guitar later on in the song that's really cool as well. That staccato kind of.
Adam's
song.
miming palm muting.
Yeah. But not really. Like I don't know.
I got it though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's not loads to say about this EP. Other than that, I find it to be sort of quite fun.
It's fun. I wouldn't put it on.
Yeah,
I wouldn't just put it on.
I wrote, I won't go back and listen to this by choice outside of this podcast.
But I'm glad. Same. Yeah. But I'm glad I did listen to it.
The only reason that I ever listened to it outside of the work we've been doing here is to remind myself that this is what they used to sound like.
And it's also important to say that Adam said work we're doing here because we're not enjoying
We're
this.
doing important work.
Yeah.
This is a real. This is my calling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
London.
Was this supposed to be fun?
London calling.
I think originally it was supposed to be fun.
Seems like
but we've missed that mark.
That went out the window long ago.
Yeah.
Seems like you're ignoring the joke I did.
Last exit on yesterday.
Joke there about London calling. It seems like you cut me off when I was trying to do it.
There's that lead
Cut me
guitar
off
again.
joke
They're like just so full of melody, these songs. I know I've said that a lot, but I do find it quite impressive.
I did go into the lyrics on this, which I can't remember, but I've written a note here that says drugs though. So I imagine
any expansion on that?
No, I can't. Can you get the lyrics up?
Give me 10 minutes.
Sure.
Okay.
I wrote down that I
Just need
made out 2 lyrics in this song.
What
Oh,
were
I thought you
they?
were going to say you made out with
The
someone.
word lover
Yeah.
is present, as is maybe, I put maybe next to it, pretty face.
Okay. Why don't you
Bring up the lyrics and see if... wait, what's the song called again? Last exit on yesterday.
But that melody guitar part over the top, if that's the right way of putting about it, is that same thing you're talking about. It's just full of... It's vibrant. I
Yes,
think is the right
it
word.
is. It's vibrant and fun and catchy.
Yeah.
I actually find myself humming the title track, New Art Riot, like quite a lot.
And I found myself doing this. Yeah, not like that, but like that though. More like that.
Yeah.
No, genuinely. And I could.
Sean more like that.
Yeah, oh hell! Oh,
We'll figure it out.
Adam dropped the mic. And we had to cut that out because it's so loud. We're getting there. There's something about
We'll really refine it.
Lover and pretty face are both present.
Well
There
done,
you go.
mate.
And when you heard those lyrics, that's
Those 2 words.
I'd like to point out that was Lucas clapping himself.
Yeah. Which we've allowed him to do because he's the only one who's not holding his mic and has a stand.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We've
We've
given
both
him
gone
the means to
handheld.
applaud
Where
himself.
you're at my house,
When-
I get preferential treatment.
When you heard those lyrics, pretty face and
Love the
lover,
word lover.
what did that evoke for you?
Oh yeah, I heard some lyrics.
Okay, so again, a very technical like, observation.
Lucas D. Robotman.
Yeah, like there's just.
Am I a robot man? I always thought I was a bit not a
You're
robot.
dripping
but
oil?
I
You're
just
forward.
asked you about some lyrics you've heard, and your response was, "I heard those lyrics."
He's not wrong.
Yeah,
But it was also not really lyrics. I heard 3 words, not even sequentially.
right.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll let you
Sure.
off
No, it's not that one.
I mean, I will listen. I will read the lyrics for the next batch of albums.
Yeah.
Again,
yeah.
because I'm being forced to, but also so that I don't look like so much of an idiot.
You don't look like an idiot. It's
I think
fine.
you look good today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm loving the cardigan.
Good cardigan.
It's a good cardigan.
Just got
Yeah.
this brand new present.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
From
nice.
where? From like Next or something.
I don't know.
I bet
You
it's
might-
from
well,
Next.
look at the label.
It's from ASOS.
There you go.
Oh, that's the online shop, isn't it? Yeah.
Use promo
What I
code
quite-
Manics.
That's not.
Please.
That's not something. Well, I do get a bit of a kick out of happy sounding songs with the most depressing lyrics.
Absolutely, yeah.
And not to go too much into it, but the band Brand New that I really like, their first album was very
Go
pop
into it,
punk.
man. You can go into it.
Their first band was very pop punk,
Go
but
off,
they were
King.
Sorry.
I said go off, King.
Okay, sure. Their first album is very pop punk sounding, but it talks a lot about being an angsty and depressive teenager, which I quite like.
Well, that's also all emo music, right?
True.
Like that kind of like mid 2000s My Chemical Romance sort of sound. It's not particularly depressing music, but the lyrics are quite introverted and emotional. That's where the term emo
It's
comes from.
basically being a teenager.
Yeah.
Also, I bet Steve hates the fact that you just compared Brand New to My Chemical Romance.
No, not. It's very
they're
similar. There's a
bands
really
to
good
me.
segue into the next track here. We're talking about teenagers.
Okay.
See what I've done?
Yeah.
Let's take a break.
All right then. Let's listen to Teenage 2020. Lucas, you were singing along there. You were mouthing along.
Well,
What's
I actually
stupid in
have
there?
a note on that chorus.
Go on.
I really hate this chorus. The melody rubs me up the wrong way. Why? I have no idea.
Okay.
Right.
That's all I got for you.
Wow.
I don't like it.
See, this is my favourite one on the album.
Yeah.
Is it?
EP, yeah.
Nah, that's something about that chorus melody. Really, I just like
The intro is just basically Johnny Be Good.
Yes, I literally wrote. I guess you aren't ready for that
And
yet.
I know.
Chuck Berry opening.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know
and
I
it's
was
It
not
doesn't
the
end
only
there with a
person
1950s kind of rock and roll thing going throughout the song. It's got a bit of it. And I'll say this on record, I'm the only person that's into 1950s rock and roll in the modern era.
That is true.
Yeah,
you are
yeah,
very
yeah.
unique and special in that regard.
No, I still like it.
Steve, do you listen to it on vinyl?
Yeah, actually, I think you'll find it all sounds best on plastic.
What's the plastic?
Vinyl.
But is vinyl plastic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. But then a CD's made of plastic too.
Oh, 1-0. Write it down.
Oh, hold on.
So it's a cassette.
Oh, so that's
That's
gonna.
2-0.
Is it going to be a league?
No, it's 1-0.
I think it needs to be like a round robin tournament.
No, it's just 1-0.
One.
It just means I'm 1-0 now.
No, I'm sorry. We're doing well.
2-0.
Well, Lucas has got one,
He's
but
And you
that's-
got one.
and I got one. But
Yeah.
but Lucas's was against Steve, and mine was against Lucas.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
cool.
it will be a
I
league.
feel like you've not put that on your notes in a position where you can expand it much because it's a tiny little corner of one piece of paper, which isn't going to be much space for a scoreboard.
Yeah,
It
no.
will be a league.
No, I've done a PowerPoint presentation just now. It's ready to go. But I quite like that in the album. That song is a
Yeah.
bit of that theme.
So that's your favourite.
Yeah,
It's
I
actually
think
my
it's-
least favourite.
Is it, and
And
Lucas'
I
favourite. Because he
the
hates
chorus I hate.
I have to say,
I quite like the intro. I like the 50s Johnny Be Good
Yeah.
rip off, but
Homage, I believe, is the term that we
Sure,
use.
homage.
Homage.
Awful.
But yeah, something about that chorus. I can't tell you what it is. I just really dislike that
I have
melody.
to say,
I think it feels
Go on.
amateur.
Yes, I was going to say I don't hate it, but it sounds like the laziest bit
Yeah,
of
I feel
melody
like I
writing
could have come up with that
on the
chorus.
EP.
And as we mentioned, I'm a robotman,
Yes, that's true.
so like I'm not impressed.
Oh, Alex.
Right.
Alex, I was going to call you Alex.
Manic Street Preachers.
Lucas
and
is
they're on
Behind the scenes,
watch.
there, Steve
Yeah,
has a
yes.
friend
Yeah,
called
impressed.
Alex.
Yeah.
As do we all.
Overall impression on the EP.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I like it for what it is, and what it is 4 people getting together and
making some noise.
yeah,
It's
and
not like a
vocalizing
groundbreaking EP. There's nothing. They're not massively adding anything to the genre of rock, but they are.
And yet,
sounds like they're having a good time.
And yet, I'm still humming "New Art Riot" to myself.
Yeah,
and then catch myself going,
"Yeah,
what's that? Oh, it's that song from that thing."
It's really fun and it is really catchy. And I think if I had any criticisms, it would probably be that, like, I think sometimes the lyrics are a little bit unfocused, and they also kind of seem very young. I think they were sort of like around 2021 when they kind of wrote these, and they do sound like...
Yeah, but Jesus Christ, the lyrics I wrote when I was 20.
Right. Yeah. Well. Yeah. No. I think. Yeah. That's like a natural sort of thing. And some bands, never grow out of that. Like Muse.
I'm just trying to say is that this is pretty good compared to what I wrote. Weirdly, because I'm not a professional musician.
But
then neither were they.
Oh,
technically.
Oh, don't get so close to that mic. I hate it.
To the microphone. So, any more thoughts on the EP before we move on?
Nope.
I did warn you before we recorded. I said I have so little to say about this EP,
and yet you've said loads about it. It's fine.
Have I though?
The EP got passed to a man called Philip Hall, who ran a management and PR company. And you'll love this, Steve. You'll love the name of this management company.
I'm excited.
His name's Philip Hall.
Yep.
The management company is called Hall or Nothing.
That's the best thing I've ever heard.
That's the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
He ran it with.
Are we allowed to rate that out of 10?
You can if you want. Go on. Rate the management PR company name.
6 or something.
But that is the best thing you've ever heard.
Yeah.
And that's 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
So if you give any of the subsequent
impress.
albums more than a 6 out of 10, that becomes the best thing you've ever heard.
And it becomes better than hearing the words Hall or Nothing.
Or anything by your favourite band.
Yeah.
I don't have a favourite band anymore. I don't like music. I just like to hear puns on their record companies.
Yeah, with people's names.
Yeah.
He ran it with his brother Martin Hall. They also did like PR stuff for Stone Roses and the Pogues and the Beautiful South. So the EP got passed to them and they went to check out a gig, and there was a lot of blood and mess, and so they left. Nicky smashed up his bass.
Blood?
Yeah. There's you smash up your equipment and start fights with the crowd. There's going to be some blood.
Yeah.
But they were also oddly intrigued, as I think you would be. So they went to see them again in London, which is a gig where I'm just going to throw out like names. I know that you don't care about names really, but Jeff Barrett and Martin Kelly were there, who owned a record company called Heavenly Records, and based
That's not a pun.
Oh, you're right. They should have been
Try
called
again.
Kevinly.
That's the best thing I've ever heard.
So that's again, rate that
6 out of 10.
Okay, right. So, but it is on par with Hall or Nothing. Okay, so that's good. Heavenly asked.
We are
to,
insufferable.
I know. Heavenly asked to sign them off the basis of that gig, and the Manics said to them, "Fuck off."
Okay.
Which just intrigued them further.
Right.
And they got together with Philip Hall, the owners of Heavenly Records, and said, "Look, we will sign them to a record deal if you sign them to a management deal, and we'll only do it if it's kind of like hedging your bets, I suppose, like kind of saying like we don't want to take full responsibility for this mad Welsh punk band.
Yeah,
like if you put in some personal stake, we'll put in some personal stake." Philip Hall agreed, had a lot of faith in the band. I think he ended up putting around £45,000 of his own money into Manic Street Preachers. At the time, do you know Alan McGee?
No.
He's quite a famous record company owner.
The name rings a bell.
He owned Creation Records, who would go on to sign Oasis.
The name rings a bell.
Yeah.
Okay, his famous quote from the time is, "What the fuck are you doing signing that dodgy Welsh punk band?"
Brilliant.
So that gives you some idea of how like the rest of the record industry saw Manic Street Preachers. They spent their time doing support slots and recording possible singles, which is where they met Dave Aringer, who will come up later.
Were they supporting big bands that we might know, or just ones on the circuit that happen to be around the time.
Yeah, just
Fine.
what kind of like ones on the circuit. They're not really like doing support tours or anything like
Sure,
that.
yeah.
It's kind of like, London new band.
Like when we used to do gigs, you just go and you get booked on a show.
Yeah, you get
happen
booked on
to
a
be
showcase.
second build. Yeah, sure.
Exactly. But they are slowly becoming more well known, especially in the music industry. There is like a bit of a buzz around them at this stage.
And which year is this?
We are in 1990. Here.
Okay. Oh, so yeah. After the EP.
The reaction from the music industry in general is mixed. Some could kind of like see through their act a little bit, I think, because, their stage shows were shambolic, and they would pay more attention to the way they could do their star jumps than they would whether or not they were hitting the right notes.
Right, okay.
Especially when it came to like Richie and Nicky. In fact, I think one of sort of like the famous things is that Richie's guitar wasn't on for any of the gigs. He was kind of miming.
Right, okay.
Wait, what?
Because
what, they had like a
because
backing track?
No,
No, he just wouldn't.
you just couldn't hear his guitar.
And he just played.
Yeah.
Pretended to play.
Yeah.
So, why? Because he couldn't play very well.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll come on to it.
Which role was he?
He's the rhythm guitarist.
The rhythm guitarist. You
Yeah.
can still hear the classic riffs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's still got the Bradfield magic.
There's just no, there's just absolutely no rhythm behind it at all.
I think that a lot of the gigs he was turned off. I mean, that's the story anyway. That's like the myth.
Yeah, I wonder how true it is.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure. Although we'll come on to it with Generation Terrorist because there's some interesting.
Whether it's true or not,
there.
this shit's fun
Yeah,
to hear, though, right? I like that stuff.
I really like rock legend sort of stuff. Anyway, but some thought they were all attitude, no music, and some could kind of see through that and see that there was like musical talent there. I think the guy from the Buzzcocks was one of them. I forget his name. The lead singer from the Buzzcocks. Anybody know his name?
Tony Buzzcock.
Tony Buzzcock.
Yeah.
Tony Buzzcock could kind of see through it and saw like the musical talent there. Steve absolutely loves the idea. He's cracked up at the idea that his name is Tony Buzzcock.
He's literally got tears in his eyes.
Tears in his eyes. That's lovely. The Manics.
Sorry.
This always makes me laugh. I don't know why. The Manics moved in with Philip Hall in London, their manager. They moved in with him and his new wife, Terry.
Great.
They had just got married, and 4 Welsh lads are living in with them.
And I've got these guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello.
And by night, they were like trashing their equipment on stage, and then the next morning, they were like sheepishly doing the washing up in the kitchen.
I love that.
Stuff like that. They were like very domestic. I think they found London to be a bit weird. James has a quote saying, they don't even sit down for Sunday dinner, which is...
Criminal.
Well, it's a bit like something your nan would say, isn't it?
But also, fair dues.
And I mean your nan,
Yeah.
Lucas.
I mean, she makes a good Sunday dinner.
Does she?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Both of them do. I mean, great Sunday dinner.
Fantastic. Cheers for the invite.
Heavenly...
Well, next time my nan
Yep.
makes me a Sunday dinner,
And here's Steve.
I'll make sure to say,
Yeah.
can I bring my
Hannah's
friend
not
Steve?
coming. Steve's coming. I like it.
Heavenly picked a single, which was released on the 21st of January, 1991. It was... Let's play it before we get into it. This is Motown Junk.
Drifting, different, don't stop the rain. No
So that was Motown Junk.
Straight away,
Yeah.
it sounds fucking great.
Yeah, I
It
like
does.
that a lot more than anything on the EP.
Yeah.
But now you say, I do see what you mean. It's a similar vein as the EP, but
Can I blow your mind right now?
I don't
They
know.
wrote this song before the EP.
Not even that. It's produced by the same person as the EP.
Sure, but
Whoa.
it didn't blow my mind, Lucas. It was fine.
Whoa.
But surely, like, with more time.
Yeah, more time and money.
Yeah, which I think helps.
It just goes to show that money can buy you everything.
Yeah, including time.
Yeah, including time.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't waste your money or time will waste money.
Yeah. Sean Moore.
There wasn't anything there.
Um,
Interesting fact about this song.
Robin Wayne
the-
Evans was the name. Sorry.
The last ever known sighting of rock and roll, because after this song they destroyed it.
That's true.
I mean, it's in the lyrics.
Yeah.
The last line,
We
we,
live in
destroy
urban hell.
rock and
We
roll,
destroy
so
rock and roll.
never seen again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
How
my
do
God.
you feel
Everything's
about that
country
last-
after this.
Pretty big deal, I would say.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, that is the end, isn't it? When he shouts,
We destroy rock and roll. Yeah.
roll.
Yeah.
Can I just say, though-
over
And then
the
it went.
sample.
And then it...
And that was it.
Gone.
Yeah.
Lennon getting shot isn't that funny? Just saying.
Is that in the
That's
lyrics?
true.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
funny, if anything.
That is true.
Yeah. So don't laugh at it.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, the production is so much better, so much clearer.
Which is why I thought it was a B-side of Generation Terrorist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and not helped by the fact that on Spotify it literally is described as such.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with Spotify, is that as soon as a band releases...
Promo code Manics.
As
It's
soon
not.
as... No, there's no... no promo code. As soon as like a remastered version of an album comes out, it supersedes the old version.
Yeah.
Which means like original track listings get lost and stuff. And we will come on to revised track listings when it comes to the Manic Street Preachers, because they've become a bit revisionist about their history. Anyway, sort of general notes about the song is that it starts with a Public Enemy sample, which is cool.
Your CD skip though.
Good one. Oh man, that is. You know, I'm not even playing it from a CD. It's coming from my phone.
I've just realised what you did.
That's the
That's
worst.
You only just get
Yeah.
That's the worst thing that I've ever heard.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. It's from a song called Countdown to Armageddon, and I just think it shows the breadth of their influences. Like, obviously, this is influenced by punk, but they have Public Enemy samples and stuff
Sure.
like that.
Why is it called Motown Junk?
Right. Well,
So Motown is obviously a musical movement,
yes.
and so I'm genuinely interested. To
But
know
they're
why.
big fans of Motown.
Sure, yeah.
They use those classic verse, chorus, solo, chorus structures of Motown songs.
Yeah.
The reference in the lyrics when it says stops your brain thinking for 168 seconds.
Right.
168 seconds is what they think a perfect length of a song should be.
Okay.
Lucas is immediately trying to check on the length of this song.
No, I just want to know how long that is in minutes.
It's
2 minutes 48 or something like that, isn't it?
Is it not 3 minutes? Yeah, it's 2 minutes 48. But a lot of Motown songs were around that.
2.8 minutes. That's not that helpful.
No, that's not helpful at all. But I think that what they're talking about is the kind of the generation of Motown influenced pop that was around at the time, which you'd see with like some of the George Michael tracks and bands like Wet 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 that were doing this like fake soulful kind of Motown song. I think that's what they're talking about when they're talking about Motown Junk.
Okay.
Also, they could just be wanting to be as confrontational and offensive as possible. I wouldn't rule that out with the Manic Street Preachers.
Sure.
Like you said,
Like, I laughed when Lennon got shot.
I
That's
laughed
purely
when-
in there just to
Yeah.
provoke a reaction from someone.
exactly.
Yeah.
I laughed when Lennon got shot.
Yeah.
I mean, they still play this song live and they omit that line.
Okay.
James won't sing that line anymore.
So what does he do? He just doesn't say it
I think
whatsoever?
he just says, "I laughed,"
and then everyone else
that's
fills it in.
Yeah.
Why has he? Basically, he's
Because he
realised
doesn't.
He's just realised it was just unnecessary.
Yeah, I think it's just it's just unnecessarily offensive, maybe, which was kind of their MO at the time.
So they grew up a little bit.
Their
at
MO
some
town.
point.
Yeah.
We'll get there. When they started wearing blazers and t-shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't hear
when
that.
they become
Whatever Steve
40,
said, I'm glad.
when they
Move on.
become 40, 42, they're no longer, laughing when Lennon got shot. But I do think that line, in the context of the song at the time, adds a lot, because they're very nihilistic lyrics. The other thing, the only thing you gave me was the boredom I suffocated in. 21 years of living and nothing means anything to me. These are very nihilistic, kind of dark, depressing sort of lyrics, right?
But
yeah, exactly.
It's all nice and
exactly. They're on like this bedding of really fun music, and I think this song's great. I think this is really great. If I wanted to introduce someone to Manic Street Preachers, I think this would be like track 1 on a mix CD. Do you know what I mean?
I get it, definitely.
Yeah,
because it kind of mixes those two. You couldn't play them, I don't know, something off the EP and go, this is the Manics, because they'd probably be instantly turned off. Whereas this is something that now you can revisit and go, isn't that interesting?
You
that
can
they used to sound like this.
You can see echoes of it throughout their career a little bit as well. Especially in terms of like how they write songs, like structurally. Like I don't think they've deviated from Motown Junk all that much. Not when it comes to singles, anyway.
Sure.
So Lucas, aside from production, what other kind of stuff did you have on this song?
I'll be honest.
Go on.
Not much.
Okay.
What about those bitchin' guitar solos?
I did like that, and I liked the riffage.
The riffage.
My notes say, I like the riffage.
Wow. Okay.
He does like the riffage.
Yeah, I think good song, really strong start to their career, and not a lot of people would have heard New Art Riot because it was a limited edition, and I think that this as a single is such a good shout. Oh, we've been joined by a cat.
Yeah, Max is on the podcast.
Hey,
Hello.
cat.
Ew.
Gonna meow?
I would have loved that.
I still feel like this song it leans more in the direction of the quality of the EP versus the quality of the first album.
Yeah, I agree.
It's better, but not as better as the album is,
Not
and
as
I
better.
still wouldn't.
So
bother.
you prefer some of the stuff on Generation Terrorists to Motown Junk? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
yeah, most of.
Okay. Interesting.
We'll get
Interesting.
that in
I
episode
really
2.
That's a good point. We our next episode will be on Generation Terrorists. So I think we're actually coming to the end today, and we'll leave it there. We're going to get on to the time between where we're at now and the release of Generation Terrorists. I assumed, Lucas, that you were going to hate Generation Terrorists, but you seem to be edging towards like a more positive kind of thought on it. So that's a nice tease for next time.
I was going to say.
Oh no, leave it.
I was going to give like a 5-word preview, but I won't.
No. Yeah, make them wait for
Make
it.
them wait.
Yeah.
Them being us and our mums that
Yeah.
we get to download.
The three listeners. I suppose, what do we need to say? What do people say at the end of podcasts? We'd love
Promo
it.
code Manics.
No. If you just type that anywhere into a computer, you'll get something. Thank you so much for listening to us largely waffle on. I think we had to introduce ourselves, and further episodes will be more focused on Manic Street Preachers and the albums they released.
I imagine we'll get into the albums a lot quicker.
Yes.
Because we won't have to do all the preamble.
Well, we've introduced that you're a robot and Steve's an idiot and I'm too invested in the career of the Manic Street Preachers, so we don't need to set that up again.
Sounds about right. Steve looks offended.
Max the cat has sat on the agenda, which
dear.
I think is kind of like a metaphor.
Oh, that is so Sean Moore.
That's it. That's it.
We got there.
Yeah.
We got there in
6
the
out of
end.
10.
Good stuff. Please get in touch with us. Let us know what you think about New Art Riot and Motown Junk.
We have Twitters and things.
We do have Twitters and things at Manics Podcast on Twitter, at Manics Podcast on Instagram. We're going to post some photos of our lovely faces. Get in touch with us. What are your favourite albums? What are your favourite tracks?
If Adam has got something wrong,
there's
please fact
very
check
likely
us.
if you fact check us,
and we can address that in the next time.
And throw hate at me for not understanding your favourite band.
Yeah, and throw hate at Steve for any
Derailing
of
the
jokes
podcast
he
about your
tried to
favourite
make.
band.
I don't understand what you just said. So.
Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully
Thank you, guys.
we will see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.
We should actually probably have a proper sign off.
Is this still on mic?
Yeah.
That could be it, can't it?
What, is this still on mic?
No, you saying we should probably do a proper sign-off. And then everything that we've said since then. So this is the outro.
We need to say goodbye properly. So it's Twitter at Manic Podcast, Instagram at Manics Podcast, and remember,
Love me.
no, remember that we live in urban hell and we destroy rock and roll.
Exactly the same.
Okay, all right.
Don't need to do the music.
Nah,
It helped.
I don't know.
Fine.
Hello, and welcome to Do You Love Us? A critical analysis of the history, cultural impact, and music of Manic Street Preachers. I'm Adam Scott Glasspool. With me is Steve Murphy
Hello.
and Lucas Way.
Hello.
We are all very big friends.
We're such big mates. Oh, I'm such a big mate.
Is this intro better?
Yes.